there, everybody. Welcome to the Arrow After Show. We are doing our Arrow After Show here now for Arrow Season 2, Episode number 22, Streets of Fire. My name is John Campea. I'm going to be your host tonight as my eyes start to bug out already. So I'm going to put my glasses on. Thanks for joining us, guys. And we are here to talk about some Arrow. So joining me as always, first of all, sitting to my immediate right is Kaori.
Hey, guys. Welcome to our show.
And sitting next to her is, of course, Anne.
What's up, my fellow archers? One more episode left.
Yeah, we are getting into the last episode of the season next week. Unbelievable. So this is how our show works for those of you who may not have seen it before. We are going to start by talking about the things that we liked about tonight's episode. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the things that we think could have been done better about tonight's episode, and then we're going to give our overall impressions, and then what we're going to do is leave the last part of the show to do nothing but take your questions. And if you want to get your questions on the show, I forgot to bring up a lower third for it, but if you want to get your question asked on the show, you can tweet to us. Just tweet a question with the hashtag Arrow After Show. So tweet with the hashtag Arrow After Show. And Anne is over there on the Twitter board. She's got her the Twitter all open, ready to take your questions. So just tweet on in your questions. So let's talk about tonight's episode.
Please.
Yes. Anne, let's start with you today. Let's start with the things you liked about tonight's episode.
Okay. Well, we're all going to say this, I believe. Malcolm Merlyn is back.
Yeah.
That is definitely a positive. And it's funny that you don't realize how much you miss somebody until you finally have them back on the show. And you're like, holy crap, I love that character. And so I like seeing John Barrowman back as Malcolm Merlyn. We got some good action out of him as well. We saw that he is probably one of two people that could physically take down one of these Mirakuru dudes. And how come he hasn't trained others to figure out how to do that too?
He probably didn't know about them till now.
Yeah, that's true. So I love seeing him back. I love seing the first interaction between him and his half daughter. Is it half?
No.
There's
daughter.
That's his
no
daughter.
such things as half daughters.
That's his daughter.
How would you be somebody's half daughter?
He half had sex with Moira. He just
two
had
in the hole.
Sex with All right, let me get back to this. Could get really bad. All right, so happy to see Merlyn back. Balance of characters. I wrote that down as a note because this really wasn't just Oliver in this episode. This was everybody in this episode. You know, we got a good balance of all of the characters. I didn't feel like we didn't see anybody that we particularly would want to see. Everyone had the same amount of screen time. Even Roy, even just laying there, Roy was on screen. So I like that they continue to keep a good balance, especially in this episode, and the finale I'm sure is going to be the same. I liked seeing Felicity in this episode. I thought she brought the right amount of humor, the right amount of emotion when it was called for. And we often forget that Felicity is amazing at doing that in this show. In the beginning when she told the joke and then having that serious conversation with Oliver, she has always been, to me, the heart of the show. And I think she subtly showed that in this episode. And I like seeing that. Okay, this is part of my negatives too, but I like seeing the reason why Oliver has that connection with the Russian mafia. We finally get a glimpse as to what formed that connection on the island. And lastly, the Blood alliance with Oliver. I think it was a good revelation for Sebastian Blood. I've hated his character up to this point just because it's one of those villains you like to hate. I liked him as the character, particular actor. I thought he had a very douchebaggy face and he fit the character very well. But I liked the revelation. It made sense to me. I understood his motivation. I understood why he gave up the cure to Oliver. And then I thought he went out perfectly in this episode as well. So those are my positives.
All right, Kaori, let's go with you. Your positives on tonight's episode.
Well, Anne mentioned some great positives. Huge one about this episode was I loved the intensity and the pace throughout the whole entire episode. I love it when the action starts and this goes all the way throughout. At the beginning, I really like that Laurel shot that arrow. A little cheesy, but I liked it. It kind of reminded me how she was trapped and the way she was talking about how she was scared and how Oliver was trying to talk to her. It's cool. It reminded me of when Tommy was trapped in the season finale from last season. It kind of was familiar in that place. Isabel Rochev mentions that she wants Felicity Smoke, so that's a revelation for me.
Yeah, I got to ask about that. When she says, I want Felicity Smoke, I've been wanting to put a bullet in her. What was the... did they ever have a confrontation?
No.
Because I didn't remember that from the show. Like, why was it she's got the hate on for Felicity?
Yeah, from my understanding, that was the first snippet, and that was a positive for me because that meant there's something bigger for Felicity out there right now. But you guys tell us. Anyway, John Barrowman, of course, is back. Love having him back. Starlight and the Cure, the courier en route. That was kind of cool, but also sending a courier is not really the most optimal thing. But that's also a positive. Sarah's back, and the mask chat. I thought that was kind of cool that Sebastian Blood talks about why this mask defines him. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good things in this episode.
Although I will say the conversation with Sebastian was a little bit romanticized in the sense that it almost tried to make him out as if all I've wanted, he was just misunderstood. I've just wanted to do what was good. We just watched him murder his mom. Okay, so let's not get too romanticized about him and so that sort of thing. But anyway, I was interrupting you. What were your other positives? I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I think overall it was a good episode. Yeah, your turn.
Well, some of the things for me about the positives of this episode. One, I thought there was terrific action. And by action, I don't mean fight scenes. I just mean there's a lot happening and all that kind of stuff. Merlin coming back in was perfect. You know what? Last week, if you'll remember, I theorized we had seen Thea for the last time that season because I said it felt like when she walked out the door of the mansion, that was it. And then a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of you guys jumped on Twitter and reminded me, John, you're forgetting about the last scene in the train station. We see her there again when the masked guys, the Mirakuru soldiers attack. It's like, oh, yeah, that's right. And then once we realized that, I kind of thought Merlin was going to show up. That would be the point that he shows back up. And sure enough, Merlin shows back up in there, saves her there. I also said at the police station... Remember, I said people were speculating, well, who's going to, save the day at the police station? And I said, I think Lance is going to save himself. I think Lance is going to save, he's going to step up and he's going to save the day there. And sure enough, he did. He pulled out the grenades. So that was really cool. What was some of the other positives? I liked that scene a lot between Felicity and Oliver in the tower. And she says, no, you're not going to give up. You're going to fight and you're going to do all this kind of stuff. It was a really nice moment. And I don't think I'm the only one. When she leaned in to go for the hug, I thought they were going to kiss.
I did too.
And I thought, all right, Oliver, go get a little something before you probably go off and die facing Slade. But no, I'm glad they didn't. I know a lot of people want to see, what do they call it? Olicity?
Olicity, yeah.
I know a lot of people still want to see the Olicity couple, but I'm telling you, I still feel and I still fear that doing that changes the nature of that relationship way too much. And I like that relationship the way it is, and I don't want it to be sullied. And I like Oliver with Sarah. I just do. Sarah showing back up and saving Laurel when she did. That was really cool. They're starting to bring they're building up to a really great crescendo, which of course then we see in the preview video for next week. We see the whole gang is together. We see Arrow leading the way. We see Sarah with them. We see Nisa is back. Roy. She's got like 3 or 4 of her soldiers, and Roy's there too.
Malcolm.
And look, and Malcolm is with them. And look, Roy's got a mask now.
Yeah,
good way to wake up, Roy. You don't have any of your freaky superhuman strength anymore. Why don't you come fight with us though? And here's a mask.
Here's a mask, and no one knows who you are because you don't wear the same red hoodie every episode.
Now maybe that makes sense. Remember, we saw that shot out of context, and maybe next week's episode, the season finale, will give us context as to why that makes sense. So I'm not going to jump all over that. But I will tell you this, man. Seeing that last shot of Arrow with Malcolm, with Sarah, with Nisa, and the League of Assassins, and all, that to me was pretty damn cool. That was fun to see.
Where's Diggle?
He wasn't there?
I don't remember.
No.
I'd have to look at it. Diggle wasn't in that group.
No, where's Diggle, you guys?
He's off taking care of business.
Yeah, he's fighting somebody else.
Talking to Amanda Waller.
You know what? If Arrow is about to go fight the Mirakur army, I bet Diggle's off taking care of Summer Glau.
Oh, maybe.
Diggle's going to take care of Summer Glau. You like, we're watching that fight between at the beginning of the episode with Diggle and Summer Glau, and I'm like, come on, Diggle, kick her ass. And it's like, it was just, I want to see him shine because, he's my favorite secondary character in the whole show. It has been great the way they've gotten back to the trio, which is good. I mean, and you know what else is really cool? I really love that moment when because this could have been cheesy, guys. When they go, who was that? Because Sarah had just saved the little girl and she took off, and Laurel just looks at her as she's going off. She says, "That's the canary."
I thought that was cheesy.
And I thought that could have been cheesy, and I thought she gave the line great, and to me it actually had emotion to it. And it was especially exciting for me because I think to me it really did establish that's the canary. Sarah is the canary.
You know what? I was thinking this episode, and it might have been really subtle, but there were two moments in this episode that made me think they're subtly dropping the hint that Laurel's going to be canary.
Yeah.
One was obviously the thing that Kaori pointed out, which was Oliver teaching her how to shoot the arrow in the beginning. I know it was just to get her out of that cave or whatever, but I thought that was kind of a subtle drop from the showrunners to say, hey, she could learn and Oliver could be her teacher. And then two was that line was Laurel understanding the purpose of her sister's and the motivation for her sister's persona, so that when it's her time to pick up that persona, she knows what the motivation is and she truly is passionate about it.
Everybody seems to forget this thing. She has no abilities. She has no ability. She was not trained for 5 years with the League of Assassins. She's a nobody with she's going to be the new DA. Laurel is going to be the new DA of the city, and she's going to help rebuild it. But I'm telling you, just because she picked up an arrow, like that, if anything else,
honey.
how brutally awful she was at just picking up a bow and arrow and going, she's canary. Come on.
I just feel like she has been here throughout season 1. She's well, you guys probably hate me for this, but I think she's just destined to become the Black Canary. The Black Canary is not going to show up in season 2 and take over like that.
And Mark and Andrew in multiple interviews have said that she is going to be the Black Canary at some point.
I still don't think they're going to. I really don't. And I feel like Laurel, that scene where she looks at Sarah with a lot of pride in her eyes and says, "That's the canary." It's like, and that's it. Sarah is the canary. And I think they're going to keep it that way in the show.
So.
Now, I say that. Season finale's coming. Sarah could get a sword through the face. I mean,
there is one person left to die.
Yeah, and it's the one that he loves most. And I think Slade is going to go after Sarah.
Sword face.
And Sarah could end up with a sword in her face in the season finale.
I like how you mentioned that because they did mention that he's going to go after the one he loves the most. But we forget that throughout season 1, when he was on the island before Sarah's existence, he was holding on to a picture of Laurel Lance the whole entire time.
Very true. Very true.
So,
I mean, Laurel could die.
Yeah, Laurel could die.
I think they've set her up to be the next DA of the town because they got rid of the other DA.
Pretty quickly, too.
I don't know who's going to be mayor next. I don't think they have anybody key set up that could be mayor.
Malcolm Merlin.
Malcolm. Yeah. Hey, remember?
Dum, dum, dum.
Remember, citizens of the city, how you forgave Moira Queen for the whole blowing up the city thing? Forgive me too, and I will be your mayor.
In the comics, it's Oliver, but I don't know. They're not going to go that way.
Diggle will be mayor. Mayor Diggle.
Roy.
Mayor Roy.
Right.
A lot of
going crazy
fun
now.
things you can do. Okay. So lots of really cool, awesome things about the episode. All right. So let's then talk about some of the things that maybe were a little not so well done. And for me, the most obvious, and this is a tiny thing, but it's the one that jumped out to me the most. It's like when they're in the police station and that police chief is talking to Lance. He says, "I'm going to need you to be Detective Lance," and he hands him his badge. And I said, like, was he just walking around with Lance's detective badge in his pocket all the time? You know, hey, I just so happened to keep this on me. Here you go.
It's like the teacher that carries around the little gold stickers when you do a good job. Like, you did a really good job. You could be detective again.
And I just happened. Good thing I happened to have your badge on me. Whee! The other thing that was a little corny to me was right at the very beginning of the show when Arrow's buried under all that rubble.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awfully. Any one of those rocks hitting him, falling, would kill him. He should have been dead under that kind of a pile. They should have had the pile of stones, like of rocks, around him, and had the camera shot with him just kind of laying on the ground and waking up, but not buried under like 50 different stones that would have killed him. That's a nitpicky thing, just a tiny thing. Also, the one thing that bugged me a little bit, I kind of liked the last second attempt at redemption by Sebastian Blood, that maybe in the end he wanted to do something right. But at the same time, I thought, okay, this dude is smart enough to know you can't just hang out in your office. You know Slade is going to realize you stole the Mirakuru antidote. You can't just stay here. You're going to die. So that was a little bit, but honestly, awesomely paced episode. The pace was great. This might be the best paced episode they've ever had in this show. I mean, it was a very brisk pace. Not that fast is always the right pace, but for this particular episode, the boom, boom, step, sequence, it moved along at a terrific pace, and yet it never felt rushed. They had some really nice, calmer moments. Anyway, I'll move on to you guys. What were some of the things, Anne, we'll start with you, the things that you thought might have been weaker about this episode, maybe could have been done better?
The pacing.
Oh my gosh, really?
Really, it wasn't the real-time pacing of what was happening in the current. It was the pacing of how they were peppering in the island scenes, because the pace, like John is saying, was like that, right? Current. But on the island, felt a little slow, and so the fact that they kept cutting to the island and the pace on the island was a bit slow, it kind of stopped the momentum from me that was happening in real time. So that's what I mean.
I will agree with you about that. I wasn't actually thrilled with the island scenes, actually.
Yeah.
This was it went from what's happening in our world, bang, 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 to island stuff. Okay, we're still standing on the bridge of the submarine, still just talking?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
cool.
I guess that was a little out of place, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I mean by pacing. So I agree and disagree, whatever. The Laurel and Sarah conversation seemed a little bit out of place to me. They just started walking around and decided to have this real serious conversation in the alley.
Well, but remember though, that was the first time that they were truly face to face, where Sarah didn't know that Laurel knew who her identity was.
That's true.
And it was their first time kind of confronting that. So to me, it made sense that way.
Okay. All right. Not enough Slade action. I know he's there. He's in his suit still, but I'm like, get in your effing Deathstroke costume and start kicking some ass. And I know we're going to see that in the finale, so it's coming, but I'm just like, come on. I want to see it now. I'm waiting for that epic fight, and I know it's coming in the next episode. How did Sarah know where to find Laurel? I know that's one nitpick that I had, but all of a sudden Laurel's can't get away from this Deathstroke looking guy, and Sarah happens to be there to cut the fence open for her. And I'm on the fence. Speaking of fences, I'm on the fence about Amanda Waller. I'm not sure how I felt about her in this episode, so I don't have it as a positive or a negative. You guys tell me what you think about Amanda.
All right, Corey?
There's a couple negatives for me. I kind of want to mention Thea in my negative pack because she's in deep shit, for lack of better words, and she does not want to get help from her father. I understand that he's an evil man, but at the same time, he's the only one that might be able to lead her to safety, and she refuses to get his aid. And he's genuine about it. That kind of bothered me. Small little things. Slade Wilson is getting harder and harder to understand. I think I might need subtitles in the next episode.
Mr. Queen. And then the city.
It's like, what?
Scary.
And he mentioned something about Shadow, and Isabel turns at him and says, "Who's Shadow?" And that really shocks me that it's the first time Isabel, who's supposed to be one of his homegirls has not heard of Shadow yet.
You're right. That didn't make sense to me because Shadow seems to completely understand why the motivation of Slade and why he's there and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, really? You've probably trained with this guys for years and years and years. And it's like, okay, now we're going to go destroy the city. Why? Because I have a hate on for Queen. Okay, why? That never came up?
Yeah.
He chose to have the woman I love die. You think that would have come up in conversation. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me, but you're right. That's a good point.
Yeah, that kind of bothered me. And then it's Canary, I don't understand why she doesn't know why she came back. When her sister said, why'd you come back? And she's like, I don't know why I came back. Well, shit. Then who's going to know? And that kind of bothered me. So other than that was it.
All right. Look, to me, overall, I thought this was a great episode. And this was a fantastic pre-season finale episode. This set everything up for just a lot of fireworks and a lot of... Now, obviously, too, we see Merlin walking with Arrow and his gang in the preview for next episode. Obviously, Thea did not shoot and kill Merlin. Yeah. So maybe... it wasn't her gun that went off. Maybe she shot somebody who was coming up behind Merlin. That's my guess. Or she did try to shoot Merlin. He's wearing body armor. That would be interesting too. That makes for an awkward conversation afterwards. So that's all happening. But I thought this was a great episode. Really wonderful to set up for the season finale. Mixed feelings. I'm so sad that the season is ending. But anyway, your guys' general impressions of the show?
Solid. I felt like it was almost like a part one of a movie, and the second season finale will be the part two. I liked it. Solid. Anne?
Yes.
Nothing more. Just yes. All right, folks. Well, we said we would leave some time here at the end of the show to do nothing but now. We're going to turn the show over to you guys who are watching this live. You can tweet in questions and just tweet a question using the hashtag Arrow. I was going to say AMC Movie Talk. That's my day job. Hashtag Arrow After Show. So send that to us. Anne's got her eyes on the Twitter stream. She's keeping track. So have people been sending stuff already?
Oh, yes.
All right. So let's get started. What are people asking?
All right. So AEM Bell asks, next week's promo says someone is kidnapped and one more person who has to die according to Slade. Predictions.
I don't recall it saying somebody gets kidnapped.
Me either.
Yeah, me neither.
But how about the person to die?
Okay, one other person died. Well, number one, let's not assume that he succeeds. But I think it's pretty clear. Well, I was going to say it's pretty clear that Slade is either talking about Laurel or Sarah. Maybe he's talking about Felicity.
That's possible.
Wouldn't it be funny if he's about to grab one of the three girls and he grabs Felicity and that shocks everybody? It's like, I know you, Mr. Queen. Love Felicity. Like that could, I mean, with
He's
that.
Bane.
Or if they really want to throw a twist in it, it's Diggle. No. I don't see that. No, don't kill Diggle. I still think, as much as I believe Sarah is the canary and I love her in this show and I want her to stay around, if I had to put money on it, I'd say Sarah's the one he's going to either kill or try to kill. Either that or Laurel. It's got to be one of the two of them. What do you guys think?
Or maybe Laurel's the one he's going to try to kill, then Sarah sacrifices her life to be the true hero.
I don't want her to sacrifice.
Dumb.
Anne?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Sarah, too. I think they spent so much time in this episode to show Sarah's evolution or growth into the hero, or to understanding that she's a hero, that they're going to take that away from us in the next episode.
All right, what's next?
All right, so English asks, hey guys, love your show. Can't wait for the finale. Do you think Malcolm will join Team Arrow for the epic finale?
I mean, it's almost cheating to answer that, but yes. I mean, we see him marching off into battle with Oliver and Nisa and Canary and yes. Yeah. If he thinks this too, remember we talked about that on previous episodes, right? We said, look, if he is very protective of what's his, and he will do whatever to protect his daughter, because that's all he's got left now, especially with Tommy gone. So if that means teaming up with Oliver, he'll do it. He'll totally do it. And if it means saving the city, Oliver will team up with with Merlin. So I think you're going to see a very uneasy truce, and then maybe setting it up for more all hell breaking loose between the two of them next season. But we'll see where that goes. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree completely, especially with the motivation of Thea, because he's going to protect her at all costs. So I definitely see this happening. I think I've been seeing this happening from the beginning of this season. So yes.
Anne?
I think you summed up my thoughts perfectly. So do you want me to get to the next question?
Let's get to the next question then.
Tim B asks, hey guys, because of Amanda's decision to possibly bomb the city, could we see a setup for a possible war with Team Arrow in another season?
I don't understand the question.
So because of Amanda Waller's decision to bomb Starling City...
That it could be Team Arrow versus Argus?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't think so, because here's the thing. Amanda is doing what she thinks is the right thing. And keep this in perspective. Like, in one way, she's correct. She cannot let this threat, this seemingly unstoppable threat of a Mirakuru army, getting out of this one city and spreading across the country. And I think when they showed her explaining to Oliver what she was about to do, she seemed very pained by it. It's not like I'm going to destroy the city. Mwahaha. No, it was, you could tell there was pain in her voice. She didn't want to do it, but she felt like she had to save the rest of the people in the country. So I don't think that motivation would spark a war between Arrow and his faction versus Argus. I don't think that'll be the spark.
You know, I felt, for me, quite the opposite about Amanda Waller. I felt that she was completely desensitized to the fact that there was 500,000 people in Starling City. So I didn't really feel that pain in her.
Really? Because remember, he says, there's over 500,000 people. And she said back to him the exact amount of people. She said 571,320, like something like that. It's like, oh no, she knew.
She knew. But for me, she was like, yeah, that's how many statistically. Moving on. It felt like a contamination. She was just trying to contain like a zombie epidemic or something. But no, I don't think that they're preparing for another rivalry in the next season, because he has till Dawn to figure this out, and he's going to figure it out before Dawn.
I hope so.
He will.
I don't want to answer the question because I don't know, but I still am very much intrigued what the relationship between Amanda and Oliver is. We still don't know anything.
And what it's going to be moving forward.
Because does she have a vendetta? We don't know.
I don't think so. I don't get that sense. No.
So that's what I'm more interested in, and I think that we'll see Argus around in season 3.
Oh, so do I. Yeah, completely agree. All right, what else?
Okay, so Prince416 asks, Arrow after show. So is the League of Assassins going to whoop some ass in the season finale?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
I want to see some of these League of Assassins dudes just go off on some of these, unmiracuru'd big prison thugs, that because really without the Mirakuru they're just big prison thugs, and I want to see some of these League of Assassin henchmen just whip some tail. I think this is going to be I want to see Nisa really kick some ass. I want to see her rip some people apart. That's what I want to see. What do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely going to happen. It better happen, and you explained it very well, so yeah.
Agreed.
On you.
Okay, what's next?
So Japheth Lopez asks, do you think Blood might have Mirakuru in him so he is not actually dead?
No, I think he's gone. He's dead. The mask fell to the floor. He never Mirakuru'd himself. I think they're done. I mean, once again, this is a comic book TV show, so no one's ever really dead. So you never know. But I didn't get the sense of that at all. I think I think he's done.
I also think he's gone. I think he made himself useful throughout the whole season.
Because if he had Mirakuru, who would have been the one to give it to him?
Himself?
Slade.
I don't know. Yeah.
Slade would have been able to get. So Slade would know he has Mirakuru in. He would know what it take. That you just stabbed him. Oh, he's not dead.
Yeah.
No, I think he's gone.
And throughout the whole season, we've been kind of told that he's the peon for Slade Wilson. So now that he's useless, peace out.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
So Brandon Davis asks, what do you think this means for Roy if this cure works on him?
I think it did work on him because he's marching on. I think he's on his way to becoming Arsenal, but that's because I read things, so I could be wrong.
I'm hoping it means he's going to die in the next episode.
Now he has no superpowers.
He's back to being useless. Right. Look, I've actually said the last couple of episodes, notwithstanding that literally the last couple of episodes in which he's just been quiet on a table, But the last couple of episodes that he's actually been in it, the writers have made him less annoying than he was to me before.
Because he doesn't talk.
Well, because he does talk. But even in the ones that he has talked, I've been less annoyed by the Roy character than I have been before. I still don't like the character. Honestly, if they just said at the end of the episode he got on a motorcycle and moved to Mexico, I'd be perfectly happy with that. But I'm not as cringed by the idea of Roy's involvement one way or the other now, because he's becoming a little bit less annoying. So, hey, let's go into the season finale with Roy with an open mind and see what they do with him.
Yay, I like that.
Yeah. And I think this is a good way, if he does have the mirror crew out of him, it's a perfect way to just start humbling his character. Maybe he's learned a little bit of something, a loss or whatever, loss of Thea or whatever, some lessons learned during his time with the Mirror Crew that maybe they'll spend some time actually developing Roy.
Okay, let's take just a couple more.
Okay, so Ninja asks, who would you like to see cast as Ra's al Ghul? I would like to see Oded Fehr. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, I don't care. Just get a good actor.
Yeah.
I don't need to. I honestly, when you come to these types of questions, I don't need to see a face I recognize. There are hundreds and thousands of very talented actors out there who could step into the role and do great that we've never heard of. So I really don't care. Just make the character good. That's all that matters to me. What about you guys?
Oh, I don't know. John Campea. John Campea.
As Ra's al Ghul. Yes. Here's the thing, though. There are still people out there who write to me convinced that at some point in season 3, Liam Neeson is going to show up as Ra's al Ghul. That there are still people who do not understand that this show has no connection to the cinematic universe. There are still, I'm not kidding, there are still people out there who still are completely clueless about the fact that this Arrow TV show has nothing to do with the cinematic universe.
Don't you know? Liam Neeson's already on the show. No,
and Ben Affleck is going to show up in season 3 as Batman and introduce himself.
They do it with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Kieran asks, Arrow after show, it's my birthday, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
In our best Stephen Amell voice.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Who do you think was the woman in heels? Please think of when it happened.
You're talking about season 1, I think, on the island. And I mean, I still have to look. I suspect it was Summer Glau.
That's what.
But why haven't they revealed? Now that we know that Summer is actually an apostle of Deathstroke, why not just reveal that was her? So I don't know. Maybe they've just let that go and they've realized maybe they were going to do something with that scene and they've walked away from it now. Or maybe it's still something we've yet to find out later. But I'm thinking less and less that it was Summer Glau now, because why not just reveal that at this point? Since now we already know she's the villain, that we know she's the bad guy, why not show it to us now? What's the point in holding on to that secret a little while longer into season 3? It doesn't seem to make any sense to me. So I'm starting to think more and more it might be Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Maybe one of those. Those are the two I'm thinking.
Yeah. Or it could be an entire another person that we haven't seen in the show yet. Mm-hmm. All right, let's take 2 more really quick.
Ooh, okay. Immortal Tony asks, what do you think will become of Thea after shooting Merlin?
You know, I was thinking that Thea might be the one that he loves the most.
In the heels. Oh, okay.
No, not I was like,
Thea, you badass bitch.
There's 14-year-old Thea on the island. No, yeah, Thea. I don't know why we didn't consider that.
Yeah, but I feel like
But
Merlin,
he had the chance to kill Thea many times.
Yeah. Yeah, Slade did. Yeah, that's
true. But then again,
he
had other opportunities to kill Moira, and he waited to kill Moira.
Yeah.
Maybe he's now waiting to kill Thea.
I think Merlin's just going to take his daughter and lock her up in one of those subway cars while
and you know what?
fights the city.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And what's Oliver going to do to stop him? Nothing, because he agrees with him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, I'm going to put you in this trunk. Ollie, stop him. No. I want him to put you in that trunk and keep you there until this is all over. So that's probably a good possibility. All right, last question of the night.
Ooh, good question. Trish asks, Mark Guggenheim tweeted earlier this week that one line in the finale is, I love you. Could that be about Felicity kidnapped?
But who said it?
Question mark, question mark, question mark. It's supposed to be a key line.
I don't know. It could be
in the
Thea.
finale.
It could be Merlin talking to Thea, Thea talking to Ollie, Ollie talking to Olicity,
know.
Ollie talking to Sarah, Ollie
So many
talking to
possibilities.
Laurel, Ollie talking to Diggle, Ollie
Nissa talking to Sarah.
Sarah talking to Lance. I mean, to say, hey, in the next episode of the show, the line "I love you" is going to be used. Look, it could be a death scene. Could be a death scene, and those would be last words. Maybe it's Felicity. I don't know. I don't know.
Can we get one more question? I didn't like that one. Sorry.
All right, let's do one more.
It's too complicated.
I answered that. Okay, Hayden Lewis asks, "Hey John, love the show. Watch it every day. My question is, why didn't Slade use the Mirakuru on Shadow?"
Well, Shadow was already dead.
Right.
Yeah.
Mirakuru isn't a miracle thing in the sense you can just dig up a corpse and stick it with Mirakuru and it pops back to life. I think there still has to be some life in the body for it to work. So that would pretty much explain why he didn't do that. All right, folks, that'll do it for us for this this second last installment of the Arrow After Show of the year. I'll probably do Sons of Anarchy or something next. We got to figure out what we're going to do to kill time until next season of Arrow. But don't forget to join us next week for the season finale. We'll make it extra long. We'll probably do at least an hour show next week. We'll talk about the whole season and everything, and it'll be great. Thanks so much for joining us. Listen, tune people in to Arrow. Get people to go back on Netflix and on Hulu or whatever and start watching Arrow. Maybe they can get caught up in time for the season finale next week and come back and join us. So, by the way, guys, you can keep tweeting to us all this week, either at our personal Twitter accounts, which you can see below, or just by tweeting to the hashtag AMs. I keep on saying AMC Movie Talk. That's my day job. Arrow After Show. Hashtag Arrow After Show. So first of all, I want to thank the people joining me. Sitting beside me is Kaori. Kaori, where can people find you?
You can find me and my dog Wakame at KAORIOUS. Keep on tweeting.
And of course, Anne. Anne, where can people find you?
You can find me at Ann Campea. You could find the both of us at Team Amazing.
And you can find me on all the various social media networks, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, at John Campea. So thanks a lot for joining us, guys. This has been the Arrow After Show. We've been so glad that you joined us today. So until next week, which will be the last week of the season,
Wah.
bye-bye.